I'm Byron Steskal. I'm from Stewart, Nebraska. I own a small farm east of Stewart, and basically I'm a farmer. That's what I've been involved in most of my life. And in Holt County, we raise quite a few different crops. And of course, because of the lack of rainfall, we have to use irrigation to water these crops. Corn, 1,900,000 acres. That's acres. That isn't bushels. That amounts to probably 26 to 30,000 bushels of corn. Soybeans, 71,000 acres. Popcorn, 12,000. Potatoes, 4,000. Edible beans, 2,000. Alfalfa, 13,000. And for those that don't know what alfalfa is, that's a product that you feed to your livestock for winter feed. Oats, over 2,000 acres, rye over 2,000 acres, and wheat over 4,000 acres. All of this is edible products, is food that needs water. And if the pipeline were to burst and this gets into our water source, then we can still pump the water out onto this crop. We've contaminated this food products. And then we also have hogs, 26,000 butcher head of hogs a year. 30,000 gilts, which are breeding stock for these hogs. Cottonwood feeders is within 3 miles of the proposed pipeline. They raise 15,000 head of fat cattle. Herd Co., which is the next county down, just barely across the county, is 70,000 head of livestock. And then we also have in O'Neill, which is a little bit further away, I'm not sure the distance, but it's a hydroponic vegetable farm. They raise tomatoes and cucumbers 365 days a year. They raise 10 million pounds of produce in a year's time. Now this is just our county, one county in Nebraska. There are 93 counties in Nebraska. Every one that's on this end of the state is a producer of food that people eat. And when it comes down to it, would you rather have clean water and food, or be able to drive around in your Suburban until you run out of gas?
My name's Lynda Buoy. I'm president of Sandhills region, Nebraska Farmers Union. I farm and ranch south of Bassett. I got involved in this because the landowners were being harassed and badgered by TransCanada. I think it's a disgrace that this can happen in the United States. A foreign company coming into this country and badgering people to the point that they sign easements because they are afraid not to do it. I ask President Obama, please intervene in this. The landowners out here have fought, and we need your help to stop it.
Hi, my name's Todd Cone. I'm a licensed Nebraska pump installation contractor. My wife and I own a partnership in a cow-calf operation in Nebraska. My wife's great-great-granddad homesteaded this ground in 1880. Come through Ellis Island, come across the prairie to homestead this ground. We live on the most pristine water source there is in America, and would like to have my kids possibly have a chance to ranch on this ground someday. And I hate to see a plume of toxic whatever TransCanada puts in the soil get into our water system, and hopefully President Obama will not let this go through this part of the United States.
My name's Frisch. I live south of Atkins, Nebraska. We own a small place there, and the pumping station is going to be 12 to 14 miles to the west of us, and when it leaks it'll go into a creek that flows right past our place, and in the spring it just floods the whole thing, and the whole country out there is flooded, so it's going to have the potential to contaminate the whole area there, plus it goes into the Elkhorn, which eventually goes into Missouri, so therefore it's going to contaminate a lot of other water supplies. And it just isn't right that a foreign country can come in here and tell us what to do, and for practically no profit for the states or the government that are involved. They brag about the jobs and they brag about the income, but it just is not going to amount to anything if we don't have any water. We can live without a lot of things, but we cannot live without clean water, and this affects more than just the people around here. I mean, the water is the lifeblood of the whole country. I mean, it isn't just ours, and people need to realize that. The people in the city and everything, they think they can go to the store and get a bottle of water. That's got to come from someplace, and this eventually, we're getting called Chicken Littles and everything for a lot of these things that could happen, but in the same sense, we know that TransCanada and the first one in eastern Nebraska, there are 14 documented spills. No matter how big or small, there's still spills, and that ground over there is so much different than the fragility of our Sandhills. And that's a problem with our state senators also, is they do not realize the fragility of this ground, and they keep talking about it'll never get in the aquifer. Our surface water in places is ground level. And in the eastern part of the state where the other one is, they say they're going over the aquifer. The aquifer is probably 100 feet deep, and in our area, the aquifer is basically on top of the ground. This pipe will be basically submerged in water. It's our understanding, because we know the ground. There just needs to be some Nebraska common sense involved in this to change this situation. I mean, I can't believe that it's gotten this far. It just is ludicrous that they've thrown enough money at this to make this happen. And the jobs, there's a man this morning says that these people that are applying for these jobs, they're not going to go from the unemployment line right to welding. I mean, these people are going to bring most of their own workers in. That's been the big ploy, is that they're going to provide all these jobs and stuff. And I guess that one group of pipeline workers thought this was a gas pipeline they were going to work on. They didn't even know what they were working on. And we don't begrudge them wanting jobs. I mean, everybody needs a job, but it needs to be someplace besides here. Thank you.
Also, I've told several senators that if this goes through, this pipeline, if we cannot stop this going through, we are going to erect a monument and with a big brass plaque on top of it, so that the people in the future will know who contaminated this water in 100 years. It'll have the Obama administration on it, who all the people were in the administration, and all the Nebraska state senators of how they voted for or against this, and just so that they will know who contaminated this water in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.